Welcome to the Rewilded Human podcast, where Dr. Lucille and Lynn will tackle your most difficult and intimate questions with candor, tough love, and a little dash of humor. In today's episode,
and this is where I think we need to really maintain our humanity and really allow ourselves to be shocked, allow ourselves to have our reactions to this. This is my, 2 cents worth. Don't be coerced by public opinion to go along with this.
Exactly.
Whenever you see something bizarre like this happening on a massive scale, this kind of brainwashing, know that there is an agenda here and it is not healthy. Welcome everybody back to the Rewilded Human podcast, and we are at episode 17. And Lynn and I have decided to do something a little bit different because we were struck by a number of things we saw on social media that shocked us. And so this episode is entitled Toxic Social Media. So we are all aware of, as they say, the keyboard warriors who attack anybody with a view that's different from theirs. And that is one piece of the toxicity on social media. But Lynn brought to my attention some time ago this trend now of people supporting social influencers who are actually role modeling very destructive behavior. So this is the opposite side of the coin to the, keyboard warrior issue. And we thought that we needed to really talk about that and bring it to light. And we would love to get your feedback, any comments that you have, any questions about it. So please leave comments below, and let's see if the discussion can continue, perhaps. So anyway, Lynn, you tell us a little bit about your interest in this.
Yeah, I mean, the keyboard warriors, you guys are all aware of that. And that's been going on social media for a very long time. I get a lot of that, especially on Instagram. Basically, anything that I post, people will jump down my throat and somebody will get triggered or offended. Like yesterday, I put up a post about the dangers of breast implants, and I shared my own very personal story of what I went through. One was like a silicone implant ruptured, and once I had that replaced and the silicone migrated all over my body, I had that replaced with saline implants, which were black when they took them out of me, covered in mold. And still somebody says that, oh, that's not true, they are safe. I'm in the industry and they're absolutely fine. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is my own personal experience, my own personal hell and health issues that I went through, and you're saying, no, that didn't happen. So, that's just one example. But I get a lot of that. I'm used to that and it's fine. You need to grow a thick skin. But then there's the other side. So for example, I don't know if you guys have heard about Eugenia Cooney. She's 84 pounds. She's anorexic. She's just skin and bones. You guys need to Google this to actually see what this girl looks like. She has millions of followers on YouTube, on TikTok. And not only does she have millions of followers, people are telling her how beautiful she is, how amazing she is. She's monetized. So YouTube is monetizing her and paying her for her videos. And she has sponsors. So companies are sponsoring her. And she's like, I'm like, what? What kind of a role model is this? Like, this woman is like just barely alive. And she's dancing and she's doing her thing, and millions are following her. So imagine these young girls that are looking at her and wanting to be like her. And, it's not just her. We know of other anorexic influencers that are out there. And people are telling them, oh my God, you look so beautiful. And how can I get arms like yours? And I'm like, what? What is going on? And then on the other side of this, you have the obese influencers. And actually, the Daily Mail just did an article about this, that there were 4 severely obese, morbidly obese influencers that just died recently, and they were all under the age of 45. And we're glamorizing these people, and we're giving them platforms, and people are out there telling them how amazing they are and how perfect they are. So what is wrong with us? Why, how did we get here?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, that's a really good question. And I think when we say we have to ask ourselves, who is we? Because
Yeah.
my right mind, less in yours, like I would never, ever idealize this kind of behavior. And I think your dog is agreeing with us because I see her moving
She's crafty.
into the frame. um, but yeah, we are being, I think, programmed. And I don't think that I would really love to know more about who are these people who are actually following these influencers. How many of them are,
Sorry.
you know, corporate funded?
Yeah.
You know, how many of them are bots? Because we know that bots are now used to boost up, you know, a certain, you know, account.
Exactly.
And it like the whole issue is so bizarre and so shocking. I mean, honestly, I didn't know anything about it when Lynn, you know, shared the posts for this woman.
Yeah.
You know, as a trained physician, I thought, oh my God, she needs to get to emerge.
I know. No, seriously.
He needs medical treatment. This is beyond bizarre.
Yes. And
And
people are
as
telling you how fantastic you look. I mean, is it
yeah,
bots? Is there somebody else pushing this agenda? Oh, sorry.
exactly. I
My
think
dog's
so.
coughing. You know, is it somebody else pushing this agenda?
I think so.
And,
Okay,
and trying
because
to
I don't
make
think
us into
anybody.
these two extremes where we're either morbidly obese or we're starving ourselves. And this
Yes,
is cool. Like this is the new normal. Or
that's right. That's right. I think that's what it's all about, is to push people to unfortunately destroy their bodies and die prematurely. I'm sorry, call me a conspiracy
no,
theorist.
I totally agree. I
Sometimes
totally
you look at the outcome of this stuff and you realize maybe that was the agenda the whole time. You
yeah,
notice how our bodies are now supposed to be you know, not ours. The medical establishment, the pharmaceutical companies have control over them. Parents don't have the rights anymore about, you know, deciding what kind of medical treatment their children should get. You know, your kids can get, you know, a surgery to change their biology completely, hack off
absolutely
their
insanity.
private parts and all of that. And parents are not allowed to have any say in that. It's kind of like they want us to be totally separated from our bodies.
Mhm.
And
Especially in
and
Canada.
especially in
Canada.
Canada, I
And with
can
the
say that
euthanasia in Canada, you know, if you're not happy
euthanasia.
today, come on in, we'll just kill you. I mean, how
That's
fantastic is
right.
that?
That's right. You're having trouble finding appropriate accommodation for your
No
disability.
worries. Come, we'll
Just
put you
die.
to
We'll
sleep.
knock you off.
Yeah, come to
It's
Canada. It's
yes, yes,
absolutely shocking. But you're right. I mean, it's like somebody else is taking the control over our bodies. But
yes.
the problem is with this, like this brainwashing that they're doing, this level, is that the young people are getting sucked into this, you
That's
know?
exactly right. They're the most vulnerable
They
here,
are,
and
and they're
that is
following
a
this
crime.
trend. And
That's
you
a
know,
crime.
and when they are double their weight, they're still sexy, and you know, and they're throwing their clothes off, and they have an Instagram page, and they have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, and they and that just you know justifies it for them that this is okay. I'm beautiful. Look, 100,000 people just told me I'm beautiful.
Yeah,
But you're
yeah,
gonna die, woman. You're gonna die young. You know, you're
yeah.
gonna have diabetes. You're gonna have your legs chopped off. You're gonna go blind. How is this sexy? How is this beautiful? I'm sorry, guys. You know, okay, we're not fat shaming, but this is ridiculous that we have to glamorize things that are sick, that are not normal.
Yeah. And this is where I think we need to really maintain our humanity and really allow ourselves to be shocked, allow ourselves to have our reactions to this. Don't be, this is my, you know, 2 cents worth. Don't be coerced by public opinion to
Yeah,
go along with this. You
exactly.
know, whenever you see something bizarre like this happening on a massive scale, this kind of brainwashing, know that there is an agenda here and it is not healthy. It is not healthy. It's not in your best interests. And, you know, like, what a lot of people have to do now is they kind of have to keep their opinions sometimes private. You have to be careful about
Yeah.
who you talk to, because again, you could run into something we talked about in our previous episode, which is you can run into huge backlash, triggering people because you have a different opinion. Your opinion is, you're not diverse enough, you're not inclusive enough, and the whole business. But this is simple. This is a simple issue, which is you are destroying your body when you do this.
Absolutely.
And look, that cannot be ignored, and it cannot be, hidden. If you're encouraging this, I'm not saying any of our, viewers are, but if you're encouraging people like this on social media, you have to be very, very clear that you're supporting them in going to an early death.
Yeah.
And you're supporting their supporters, like Lynn mentioned, who are so vulnerable. Young people who are so vulnerable, maybe they're coming from abusive backgrounds or very neglectful backgrounds. They don't have a bond with a parent or an authority figure, and they're looking to their peer group for some kind of sense of belonging and, maybe some pseudo sense of being loved or accepted. And they're exposed to this and they go, wow, yes, as Lynn said, that's my ticket. That's my ticket to fame and belonging and acceptance and lots of money.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It is a
Absolutely
horrible way to
wrong.
live.
Did you know,
Yeah.
Lucille, that there's also, what do they call them? I just did a video about this recently, that there's actually people that will feed an obese person until they die. It's a fetish.
No,
Yeah, I did a video about this a few weeks ago. It'll be up soon, but I
oh
mean,
my God.
it's a new fetish, and this is also, there's lots of videos like this on YouTube. So a guy will find this big lady and just keep feeding her and feeding her and feeding her until she dies.
Oh my God, with her consent.
Yeah, with her consent, yeah, and they have a platform, and people are watching this. Like, it's so crazy where we're heading. I'm so baffled by it all, honestly. And I think what happens, people just follow the crowd. Most people, like 99%, well, you know how they did those experiments, like everybody would stand up and sit down. You've probably seen those, like they'd ring the bell and everyone would stand up and sit down. And then the new people would come in and they would be like just watching everyone else do it. And after a few minutes, they started standing up and sitting down because that's what everyone else was doing, right? So I think when people see this kind of behavior being praised and celebrated, and they see 100 people saying, "Yeah, you are wonderful, keep going," then they feel kind of inclined to also, participate in this. And they would never say, "Okay, no, woman, you need help." They would be scared to say that because, oh my God, everyone would turn on you. How can you say that? Everyone is perfect and everyone's beautiful, and we have to love everyone exactly how they are, even when they should be in a hospital because they need help, psychiatric help or physical help. Like there's issues.
Yes. Right. Oh, so what has happened to you, Lynn? Because I think you have tried to insert some sanity into the comments on some of these posts. Have you tried that? And what happens?
I haven't really. I didn't really, want to get too involved into this thing, because you're just going to drive yourself crazy. When you get into these arguments with complete strangers and then you're going back and forth, and it's just not good for my mental health. So I try to stay out of these. I mean, I read them and I follow them because I just find it fascinating, and I find human behavior fascinating. And while I don't agree that, these people should be shamed, and they need help, they need to be helped. So it's not about shaming them or calling them out or something else, but the number one thing is to stop glamorizing them. Stop saying that this is okay, this is cool. Like this girl with being 84 pounds, you're telling her she's beautiful, she's making millions, and you're sponsoring her and all this stuff. You're just sending the wrong message to everyone. You're telling these young girls that, oh, all I have to do is starve myself and I too can be a celebrity and make lots of money. Or I can stuff my face until I'm 500 pounds and, shake my butt on, my naked butt on YouTube, because that's allowed. But God forbid you talk about anything that's like really important, which obviously we can't talk about on this platform without being taken down. But you can do that because that's okay, right? So we're just sending the wrong message, and the whole world is like upside down and completely backwards. And I just don't know where we're going to go from here. Like, it's just, the more bizarre, the more freakish everything is, the more we celebrate it.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, again, I think we have to be careful about the word we, because I'm certainly not part of the we, and you're not.
I agree. I'm just talking about like in society in general. Definitely not we, like Lucille and I, definitely not we. But yeah, as a society, this is where we're going. And if you try to go against that, then you're the one that's being.
And that's a really good point, which is, so how do you deal with it? So say you have the confidence to say, my wisdom is correct. Mm-hmm. I know that this is just destructive. There's nothing good that can come out of it. And I'm not going to follow this trend. Okay, great. Then you have, I guess, the dilemma of, if it's put in your face, hopefully nobody here is going to have that situation, but you never know. It could become such a trend, such a strong movement, that it suddenly becomes really taboo for you to say anything in public or to your friends or whatever. What do you do? I think it takes a tremendous amount of courage, first of all, to just say to yourself, my judgment is correct. This is my truth. This is destructive, and I am not going to support it in any way, shape, or form. And then I think, like with everything here, now you have to be very, very careful about who you voice your opinion to. Now, this is I think the worst case scenario is if this is a loved one, mm-hmm. This is happening to a loved one or a child, and you're maybe seeing a parent who is endorsing this in some way. What do you do? That's really, really hard. You can call Children's Aid, I suppose, if a child is being starved or not fed properly, or
I mean, parents are mutilating their children so they can have a reality show.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it is so widespread, and it's so much like an ego thing where, as you, Lynn, said, you feel the urge to get on the bandwagon. Everybody's standing up on a signal of sitting down. And then some people get really ego driven and they say, oh yeah, I'm going to be as good as everybody else. I'm going to do exactly that. And I'm going to shame all the people who aren't, feeling or believing the same thing.
Exactly.
And that's, that's my badge of honor. I'm standing up for these people, virtue signaling and all of that. And I think we're just going to see more of that. And I think we have to be very aware that that's going to happen. And we're going to be, sometimes maybe we're going to be confronted by people like that who are going to, blatantly perhaps ask us, so where do you stand on this issue? And if you say you say the truth of where you're at, you're going to be shot down, right?
Yeah,
you're going to be shot down.
Absolutely. So I mean, we're on the fringe of society today.
We are now on the fringe of society. We're outside the gates of the kingdom. We no longer live among the local folk.
It's really crazy.
So my thing is, I think that in your own circles, it's important to talk about this. In the circles where you find people who again are like-minded, mm-hmm. and some of them may not even be aware of this so much, and you might want to just bring it to their attention, because I think everybody's going to be aware of it sooner or later. Mm-hmm. And be okay with discussing it in your trusted groups.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I think it's kind of like when we start talking about something, we put out a vibe, we put out a frequency, into the world about our truth. And whether or not the person we're talking to believes it or is on board with us, we have put out a frequency into the world, right?
Yes.
And so I think that it is important not to power completely. You don't want to start battles where you're going to be trampled on. You don't want to do that, but to speak to the people that are aware, and also for those people who are kind of on the verge, those people who they're looking at and going, oh, so am I supposed to believe this, be on board with it? Like, I don't get it. I'm a little confused. For those people who are sort of, on the fence, not quite sure, one way to address it is by asking them questions,
Mm-hmm.
just opening up their awareness by asking them questions like, well, how does it really feel for you when you see these posts of these anorexic or extremely obese people, portraying themselves as normal?
Mm-hmm.
What does it really feel like for you? And maybe it's okay to have your reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And then, depending on how they answer, you may, ask another question and see how far you can deepen the discussion, see if they start becoming aware.
Yeah,
That would be my
absolutely.
only suggestion. I don't know, Lynn, what do you think?
Well,
You know,
first of all, I don't want anyone to misunderstand, like we're not, again, we're not trying to shame anyone, but what we're talking about is not glorifying things. You know what I mean?
exactly.
We understand that whole idea that everyone's beautiful their own way and giving people a platform and everyone, can't be a perfect size. What is the perfect size now? Zero, or I don't know what it is, but whatever that is, right? With the huge, big, luscious booty and the tiny, tiny waist. And, we can't all look like that. And of course, that's not the only perfect body or beautiful body. And we do, and ultimately what brings your beauty is your soul and what you are inside. So,
Exactly.
in one way, I like to see different people portrayed. I like to see older ladies also portrayed as beautiful and sexy and all that. I love all that. I love how the tide is changing in that direction. I'm just talking about when we go overboard. When we're going overboard and we are celebrating something that is clearly not someone that is clearly not well, that needs help. And they're not going to get that help as long as you keep reinforcing the fact that they are perfect the way they are. They don't need to change. So, for example, if I had a daughter and my daughter was 86 pounds, or 500 pounds, I would not be telling her, oh, honey, you're perfect just as you are.
Perfect.
Please
Right.
don't ever change. You are perfect,
Yeah.
and why don't you go make a YouTube channel so you can make millions and millions of dollars and have all these followers and all, I would never do that. So if you wouldn't do that as a mother for your own child, then why would you praise a stranger for this kind of situation or this kind of behavior? It's just we're just sending the wrong signals, and we're going to screw up this new generation of kids so badly. They already they don't even know if they're boys or girls or or if they're cats or if they're dogs or like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. It's so completely bizarre. Like people are allowed to identify with anything,
Anything. You
and
can
of
take
course,
cats.
yeah, of course it is your choice. Yeah, I'm not going to censor anybody's freedom of expression, but not to be taken in and consumed in the tidal wave of appreciation.
Mhm.
You're supposed to be part of the support team, be okay with being on the outskirts and not getting involved with this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
again, each to his own. I mean, I agree with Lynn. We're not here to condemn these people. I'm more concerned about them than anything
Mhm.
else. And I agree. We have to think about how it's going to impact our loved ones and
Mhm.
those that we care about, right?
Yeah, and the future generations to come,
Future
where
generation. Yeah.
where is just these things are just going to get worse, and we know the agenda, we know what's behind all this, and maybe for people who don't see all the darkness and everything that is the driving force behind all these things that are happening in the world, for them it's just a nice thing that we can celebrate everyone and everyone is equal and everyone's perfect and blah blah blah, right? And yeah, whatever. But I think once you see behind the curtain, you can't unsee the things that you see. And I just don't like the direction that this world is going in. And social media is such a great example of how toxic this can be in every way, both with the keyboard warriors and both with praising these kinds of behaviors. There's no middle ground. There's
No.
nowhere to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree.
So I don't think anything's going to get resolved in this episode, and that really wasn't our goal.
No.
We just wanted to
No.
kind of bring this to light and talk about this because I don't think people are talking about this too much, and you're probably not allowed to or not supposed. Maybe we'll get this video taken down by YouTube. Who knows? Hopefully not. We were trying to be careful to not to ruffle too many feathers, but we would really love to hear what you guys think. Like, do you
Yeah.
guys think we are the crazy ones? And we need to just zip it and love everyone and accept everyone? Or do you really think that humanity has gone a bit overboard and we need to kind of get back to some kind of normal environment that we used to have. I don't know if this is driven
I'm
by
not sure
social.
about that.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Get back to normal.
No, probably not. But is this all just social media driven, or without social media, we probably wouldn't even have these things going on. So while social media can be a blessing and can be a great tool, it can also be a curse in so many ways.
Sure.
So guys, please do let us know what you think. This will bring us to the end of episode 17, because I don't know where else we can go with this other than, yeah, it's a sad, very sad state of our world.
Yeah, I think it's more just consciousness raising awareness that we're trying to bring this, and support for those of us who are truly uncomfortable with this and don't know where else to turn to talk about it.
Absolutely, guys. Next episode, guys, is going to be episode 18, and we're going to have some really interesting questions for you guys. There's going to be some delicate situations that we'll be discussing. And I don't have my glasses on, so I can't tell you what that is, but it's very delicate and it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to put my glasses on for the next episode so I can read.
Yeah, no, it's a lot about relationships, actually.
Oh, a lot of relationship stuff. I love relationship stuff. That's definitely my favorite. Guys, keep sending us your questions. We can't wait to hear from you. And, you know, we really want to help and the best that we can and give you our best advice that we can. And keep watching, liking, sharing. If you have a friend, please share if you have a friend, hopefully you have many friends. But if you have a friend who might like this episode, please send it to them so that we can reach as many people as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next episode.
Thanks very much, and have fun until we meet again, okay?
Yeah, bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please be aware that Lynn and I are here to provide insights, advice, stories that are for educational and entertainment purposes only. None of our content should be considered to be personal, medical, or mental health therapy. If you are experiencing a mental health or physical health challenge, please consult the appropriate healthcare specialist. We are here to provide the best possible content in an atmosphere of positive conversation and personal growth.